Good day to you, partner. I'm keen, and I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp.
They say all is fair in love and PD2, but tales foretold that one day an unholy matrimony would create the spawn. A spawn more powerful than any black witch of Akara, more powerful than any black soulstone, by combining the powers of poison and fire. Maybe we could save Arioth. Hey guys, Wheat Solo here, aka the Backseat Gamer, or Skeleton King. I'm not sure which one I am anymore. I guess let's talk about map mods real quickly. Very good. 226 density, let it go. Rolling maps is such ass these days, just like give people a break. It has add monster rarity, which for some builds would affect them. For this build, not so much. And what was he doing at the beginning? What makes this so interesting? He has a very small swap, one Ormus robe, not BIS by the way, that would be a 3-socket likely, especially because his mastery is so low. His skills are so low, so I cannot confirm that it would be BIS to have 3 sockets. And then a pretty solid Fire Golem wand. He's going to do his CTA buff. He's going to summon his golems, then CTA buff one more time, continue through the map, where he is combining golems, fire in this case, with Poison Nova. Obviously, we've combined golems with Poison Nova for literally since Season 1, and in fact, golems were generally the preferred choice. Even when revives were broken, you just didn't need the damage for poison, although you could kind of go either way at that point in Season 1 because revives were so good. But once revives were changed in Season 2, I would say golems were by far the more common choice for seasons. And then when revives were kind of readjusted, I think it was player preference, and both have reasons to exist. Obviously, you can go 1-point revive as well, and then a few golems, which is always a solid option. If you are going to be going golems, what are the benefits for them? This is something I missed in the Top Wig video. Sorry, we're going to go over a lot of things here. It's going to be pretty serious. I'm actually really excited about this build. This is like as exciting as when Landis 3 first came to Top Wig and I, and totally changed our idea about how you could run Poison Nova after all of the nerfs. He did. He had us looking in a direction that we were not looking. We were so focused on other things, we missed something. And Landis 3 really helped keep Necro being pushed in a positive direction, and hopefully something similar happens with knives. So, when Topwig had his video, he has almost no LEAK. Always mess that up. Life after each kill, okay? LAC, we'll call it that. It's on his Marowaks, a solid choice with a +3 at LAC. All of his regen is coming from the Act 3 Merc Prayer and his Blood Golems. I did bring up Blood Golems being a little iffy, so they're not always the best option, but they are a very good option. Nice little lull drop, right? Now this guy's not using an Act 3 Merc, and he does have a lot more lack on it. So he doesn't need the regen from Blood Golems, and obviously he's not using the Act 3 Prayer Merc. Now he does bring up that sustain can be an issue because of the Fire Golems. He needs to kill the enemy, but let's just for right now assume that lack is not an issue for this build. As you can see, it doesn't seem to be much of one. 16 is, I would argue, overkill. But the Fire Golems will affect that a little bit. So if he doesn't need lack, but he wants minion support, and he has these extra skill points, he's not going into lower resist, which I'm not convinced is the right option. I definitely think it's worth 1 point, but is it worth everything to do? Like, it only helps you on those bosses, right? Now, if you're running the Act 3 Merc, it probably helps you a little bit more than Emilio, who is literally the best boss killer in the fucking game. So, if he has all these extra points, and he can get a few more golems, and even dump more points into said golems, then all of a sudden these fire golems do a legitimate source of damage. As you can see, his FCR is pretty low. He's basically following the advice of Landis 3, and Landis 3 and him did communicate a lot about this build, and in fact, Topwigs and I were also involved to a slight amount. I'm sure Landis 3 gave him the same advice that we did. As you can see, that map was very smooth. If you want to know how fast it was 4 minutes and 6 seconds from being on the loading screen. Like, he goes to create game, puts his name in. It's a sub 4 so easily if you just count the time of him being opening the map. That's including summoning time. Now, he does have to worry about resistances. Check out his gear. We do have issues being able to cap out poison on resistances on poison builds, but with his gear and his choices, it wasn't too hard, but he definitely had to spend cores on it. Now, he's not worrying about FCR, because again, he's following the Landis 3 idea, which is we don't go max blood warp, okay, for 0 CD. We try to time our blood warp and our FCR with the global cooldown of fire golems. By the way, I love his gloves and his belt. Those are such sick ideas. You get res, he has a max res core in the belt, IAS, and then PLR from the gloves. Like, it's actually genius. I want to experiment more with gear like that. His breakpoints are fine. I think he's overkilling it on FHR. I'm not sure if we could really fix that. His life is a little low. He should probably just put more points into life charms, but again, that's neither here nor there. It's not a big deal. Now, with these fire golems and this poison nova that is timed to kind of tick, let's talk about his favorite maps. And he's going to put in some text on the screen and then do a walkthrough, and you can see how clear it is. But I kind of want to get to the ideas that I want to talk about. Poison has an issue basically with one minion. We're not going to be talking about poison immunes, okay? You just don't run maps with poison immunes. There's plenty of them. And some of the ones that even like roll a poison immune, just skip them. As you can see, his damage is great. His fire golem damage and poison nova damage are solid, having to give points into both. Remember, you definitely do prioritize plus skills because you need to put as few points into blood warp to add more points into fire golems. So back to my little idea. He does bring up River of Blood, which is an issue for the way he runs his build as of right now. But what is Topwig's issue with River of Blood? As you'll remember from the video, he has to double, triple, / switch the Desecrate for Corpulence or Flesh Crawler champs and elites. That's because they are very high health minions that have very high poison resistances, and then when they become champs or elites, they gain extra stats, okay? And they're very hard to kill. Now, what if we're not double casting or switching the Desecrate? What if instead we're allowing on the added damage of our fire golems to help finish those minions off? Like, the Doom Knights are not an issue. Does he need to double cast on Death Brawlers? Yes, he does. Does he need to double cast maybe on a champ Death Knight? Probably. But double casting isn't too bad. But what if Topwig runs a build like this, and maybe not even as far into it, right? What if he just switches to fire golems on his current build, and then he relies on those fire golems to help kill off those fatty minions? Now, it's easy to say that, it's harder to replicate, because there are reasons, like I said, why Topwig is running those blood golems in the first place. Is it so easy to just do both at once? I can't say that. Is there some middle ground where this build and Topwig's 125 FCR variant like merge into one super poison nova build? Yes. This is giving me hope for the future. Now, he brings up that Infinity is his choice rune word. That is fine. I personally would go with Zenith. Now, of course, I have not played this build, but Zenith heavily increases the damage of your fire golems, and then it also gives you res. So for instance, when I'm saying we have issues with res, well, guess what? If you're running Zenith on Act 2, you don't have issues with res. You're still going to get your Defiance Aura, and all you're missing is prayer or cleansing from the Merc. Well, that's all I have to say for now. I really want to do another video of yours knives. I'm sorry for the silliness at the beginning. I just kind of like to have fun like that. If anyone's interested, I'm going to link his channel in the comments below. I watched his videos. They're very cool and well put together. Anyways, Skilly King out for now, guys. GG.
Come and play with us. Come and play with us, Daddy.